And welcome to the Longview MPO's Transportation Planning Public Meeting. Tonight's meeting is being conducted via teleconference. My name is Ingrid Self, and I'm here to go over the project modifications for the Longview Transportation Improvement Program, or TIP. The Longview MPO includes the counties and cities shown on the map. Projects included in the Longview TIP are located throughout the region of the MPO, as seen in the navy blue shaded areas. The Longview TIP is a list of local projects to be funded over the next 4 years. The plan is multimodal, which means it can include projects relating to highways, bicycle and pedestrian facilities, transit services, and freight projects, as well as preliminary studies used to define those projects. The Longview TIP is meant to show regional agreement on the need and priority of a transportation project, so all parties involved can be sure that they're making the best investment for the community. It is also expected to be consistent with the projects and objectives included in the MPO's long-range transportation plan to ensure all agencies are working towards the same goal. The Longview TIP has been reviewed by the MPO's technical committee, and the MPO's policy board will consider adoption after public involvement, which is why we are here today. The Longview TIP is part of the statewide Transportation Improvement Program. Because the program rules are established by federal law, no project can receive federal funding, unless it is listed in the Longview TIP. Projects are identified and selected by evaluating existing and future needs based on current conditions and projections, statewide and regional plans, and public input regarding transportation priorities. MPOs are responsible for selecting projects within their boundaries and seeking public input on which projects should be advanced. In the TIP, big projects are categorized as regionally significant and are listed as standalone items in the mobility projects section. For example, widening a roadway from 2 to 4 lanes. To simplify the budgeting and planning process, smaller projects are lumped into 11 separate subcategories, referred to as group projects. Groups projects include things like landscaping, safety lights, or new bicycle and pedestrian facilities. This grouping practice facilitates the federal funding of smaller projects, such as the pavement repair of a farm-to-market roadway. The 2021 to 2024 TIP was adopted by the Policy Board on June 10th of this year. During August and September of 2020, MPO staff was informed that the statewide TIP was over-programmed by several $1 billion in highway projects. According to the Transportation Planning and Programming Division of TxDOT, the Longview MPO needed to remove highway projects from the TIP in order to remain fiscally constrained. As a result, the MPO must coordinate with TxDOT to delay projects outside of the 4-year construction window to demonstrate that fiscal constraint. The Federal Highway Administration is not going to approve a program where project costs exceed project revenues. So the first project delay is Phase 1 and 2 of the George Ritchie widening, which has a modified let date of year 2025. The extents of this project are from Gilmore Road running west to White Oak Road. As the project continues to be developed and if funding becomes available sooner, construction could occur prior to year 2025. The next affected project is the interchange improvement at Interstate 20 and State Highway 31. This major project has a modified let date of year 2025 and includes the widening of the interstate from 4 to 6 lanes. The last affected project in our region is the improvement from US 271 and Loop 485. Phase 1 of the project will go to construction in 2023 rather than 2022. Phase 2 of this project remains on schedule to go to construction in 2024. Phase 3 will see a modified let date of year 2026, and Phase 4 will also see a modified let date of 2026. We also want to point out another project that will continue with the original construction timeline. State Highway 42 improvements are still planned for year 2024. This map shows all surface transportation projects included in the modified 2021-2024 Longview TIP for the MPO. Mobility projects are listed in red, grouped projects in blue, and environmental projects under development in dashed green line. It's important to note that funding for these projects is not going away. Rather, it is expected to be available at a later date than originally projected. So a little bit about transit projects. I'd like to present updates to Longview Transit funding over the next 4 years. Figures were adjusted based on the most up-to-date estimates available funding. As shown on this slide, Longview Transit has approximately $2 to $3.5 million available on an annual basis for planning, studies, operating, and capital expenses. This comes to a total of just under $10 million over the next 4 years. Now that you are familiar with the modifications, we want to hear what you think. You can email your comments to us at the address on your screen. Email your comments to us at mpo@longviewtexas.gov. or call us at 903-237-1062 to share your comments. All comments must be postmarked or otherwise received by October 23rd, 2020. If after today you'd like more information or have other questions, please feel free to reach out. Those wishing to make comments during tonight's meeting were invited to access this meeting through a link to register with a teleconferencing application. I don't believe we have any speakers. Is that correct?
That is correct. No one is registered at this time.
So thank you everyone for attending. We look forward to hearing your feedback.